You might be wondering, what on earth is a fire piston? Well, a fire piston is a device that allows you to compress air to create fire. You might be wondering, how on earth can we create fire by compressing air? Well, if you think back to last time you had that flat tire on your bike, what happened? Well, you got your pump out, you then pumped up your flat tire. Do you remember what happens to the nozzle on the end of the pump? You're right, it gets very warm. That's because when air is rapidly compressed, it heats up. Now, by putting some dried fibrous material called a tinder in that moment of hot air, we can then ignite our tinder. The tinder I'm going to use is a bit of charred cloth. Charred cloth is easy to make, same sort of process as making charcoal, but you replace the wood with cotton, preferably 100% cotton, a good quality Egyptian cotton bath towel. I highly recommend. Right. So what you want to do, stick your tinder in the end. So going back to how it really works, well, I'm going to put my fibrous material in the end here. This is what's going to catch light. And you can see there's a rubber washer. So as I compress this in rapidly, the rubber washer will trap the air on the inside of the barrel. Once that trapped air reaches the bottom, it will then heat up and hopefully ignite our piece of tinder. So once again, the tinder I'm using is called charred cloth tinder. There's lots of tinders out there in the wild that you can use. So the way this works, I've now stuck a little bit of tinder on the end. I'm now going to press this in rapidly. So remember, when the air compresses to the bottom of the barrel, the air will hopefully heat up to around 350 degrees. Once it heats up, if all goes well, I'll pull it out to reveal a glowing ember. That will prove that when air is rapidly heated up, it rapidly compressed, it heats up. So let's give it a go. Might take a couple of attempts. So I don't know if you can just see that. We've now got a nice glowing ember. I had to do that quite quick without talking because you don't want to delay this process too long. So now you can see, got a nice glowing ember. I'm going to stick it into my pre-made tinder bundle like this. I'm then going to hold it up. A couple of blows, especially with a nice bit of dry tinder, takes it to a flame. So when air is rapidly compressed, it heats up. That's exactly what happens with a fire piston, and that's exactly how you can create fire. Believe it or not, these are around 2,500 years old, originating from Asia, from Malaysia. Back then, they were making blowpipes using bamboo. The hollowing out process of the blowpipe is believed is how they discovered fire pistons and how when air is compressed rapidly, it heats up. To really appreciate what happens in that moment of heat, I'm now going to reach into my pocket and get some cotton wool. I'm only going to take a tiny little pinch. Here we are, a tiny little pinch of cotton wool. What I'm now going to do is place this cotton wool into this tube. What is this tube? Well, it's another fire piston. This will show you exactly what happens in that moment of heat. So rather than just see these two aluminium components be slammed together and see an ember, to really appreciate what happens, I've got this clear demo version. So I put my tinder in there, there's a washer in the bottom of this block, and there's a washer on the end of this aluminium rod. So now, by looking closely at this, what I'm now going to do is slam this down rapidly. Might take 2 or 3 attempts, we'll see, you might have to adjust it. We'll hopefully heat the air up, and because there's that bit of fibrous material, the cotton wool, because the cotton wool is in that moment of heat, we'll hopefully see a nice visual. So we're looking here, 3, 2, 1. Everyone see that? That's exactly what happens when air is compressed, something dry and fibrous is in that moment of heat. They also come pre-filled with a plan B. I never use plan B, I stick to plan A. What's plan B? Well, it's a fire steel. For those people that don't know what a fire steel is, I'm sure you all know what a fire steel is. Well, this is what it is. It's a rod that when you strike it with a high carbon steel blade, it produces sparks of around 2,900 degrees. By landing those sparks onto some dried fibrous material, I'll reach for a bit of cotton wool. I pin the cotton wool down with my fire steel and strike onto it. Won't take many strikes, and there we are. We've got a glowing, not a glowing ember, we've actually got a fire using the fire steel. So that is a fire piston device available from bushcrafttools.com.